Joining me now, Grassroots Organizer for the Republican Party. Well, let's hope this guy sticks around for a long time, Scott Presler. Scott, first and foremost, you're feeling better, right? Because you're kind of like the most important person in the right-wing movement at this point in time.
Well, thank you. I know it was killing me not being able to get out the vote before Election Day, but to the Democrats' surprise, I'm feeling better and I'm ready to rock and roll. So let's go.
All right, Scott. You're actually on the ground, knocking on doors, recruiting people, registering new voters. I know this is old news now, but the midterms, well, they went okay. They didn't go the way we all wanted. We didn't get our red wave. I want your opinion. Why?
Well, this may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to speak pointedly. I think that unless we change our voting habits as conservatives, as Republicans, we're going to continue to lose elections. And we can't afford any longer to wait to vote on one day, Election Day. We saw that in Arizona. We saw that in Harris County, Texas. Tabulation errors, machine errors. They ran out of paper ballots. And all the while, Democrats are either mail-in voting, early in-person voting, or ballot harvesting. So while the majority of Republicans are waiting to vote on one single day, the Democrats are locking in millions of votes leading into Election Day. And so I've become a major proponent. Yes, we're going to vote on Election Day, but we must also early in-person, absentee ballot, and where it's legal, we're going to do ballot harvesting of our own.
Okay, Scott, now pretend I'm dumb. That shouldn't be difficult for you. Why does that matter? Because you're right, it does, but I want you to explain for people. Why does it matter? Hey, I vote Election Day, Hugh votes early. What's the big deal? It's just one vote for one vote. Who cares? Why does it matter?
Well, it's actually a variety of reasons. One of them is psychological in part, because I remember in 2016, the Democrats were saying Hillary Clinton has banked such an enormous early vote lead that it will be nearly impossible for Donald Trump to win in 2016. And they were trying to use that information to suppress the vote. And unfortunately, some people, they buy into polls, they buy into that propaganda coming from the media. And we saw going into the 2022 election how that early voting advantage actually worked in our favor, how the Democrats were reporting, oh my gosh, for the first time, Republicans in Florida are actually leading in mail-in voting, in early voting, leading in Miami-Dade, one of the bluest of blue counties in the state. And also think about this for a second. So I already talked about how the Democrats are banking votes, absentee, early voting, mail-in voting. That means that there are fewer people and fewer resources that have to be dedicated by the Democrats in order to contact people who have yet to vote. Now, if we as Republicans, if we wait until one day, that means that we're having to allocate more resources, more time to contact people who may already have a plan to vote, as opposed to the low propensity voter or the voter who may not want to show up and needs that extra knock on their door. So the Democrats are at a huge advantage by participating at early voting. And unless Republicans do so, then we're going to continue to have to fight an uphill battle every single election.
All right, so you mentioned ballot harvesting, legal ballot harvesting. This is something that obviously we do have to embrace. What does the normal person do? How does the normal person get involved? Watching me right now, yeah, I want to do this too. I want to help. I want to help. Can a normal person help, or is this just for Washington, D.C. elite people?
No, this is for everybody. And, I'm demystifying the process because everybody hears ballot harvesting, and I know it has a negative connotation, but that's only in part because the Democrats have been the one utilizing that tool to their advantage. And so I'm currently in the process right now of creating a ballot harvesting manual. that is going to reflect all of the rules, statutes, and regulations for all 50 states. I'm not only doing research on the laws, but I'm even doing the due diligence of calling county clerk offices to make sure that I'm crossing my T's and dotting my I's. And it's quite frankly, Jesse, it's been eye-opening that I just found out in the state of Colorado, for example, any person, you don't have to be a voter, you don't even have to be a citizen. Any person can deliver up to 10 mail-in ballots in the state of Colorado. And that's even including me as a Virginian. I can ballot harvest legally in the state of Colorado. And so opening this process up to the electorate, to average citizens, is going to exponentially help Republicans if we utilize it going into the 2023 and 2024 elections.
Scott, okay, so normal people can get involved. I'm not worried about you, obviously, and I'm actually not worried about normal people. I know they want good things. But I am worried about our useless GOP leadership. I really genuinely am, Scott. They're all right back there. They're all a bunch of nutless losers. They don't accomplish anything except lining their own pockets, and I'm worried they're going to keep getting in our way and holding us back.
Well, they're going to try, Jesse. And that's why I'm leading the charge with respectfully and politely that I think it's time for change within our Republican Party. And we need a change of leadership. With all due respect to Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel of the RNC, the Republican National Committee, I am firmly supporting and endorsing Harmeet Dillon to become our next chairwoman of the RNC. The vote is going to happen on January 27th. And if any of you listening, watching, want new leadership within our party, then it is incumbent and demanded upon you that you make your voices heard. And you can do so by going to hireharmeet.com. That's hireharmeet.com. And what you're going to have is a list of all 50 states, including U.S. territories, where you have 3 voting RNC members that you are going to be able to email. If you love Chairwoman McDaniel, that's fine. Make your voice heard. If you want change of party leadership within the Republican Party, then make your voice heard, because these elected officials need to be reminded that they represent us. They don't represent these elitist donors. They should actually be trying to court us as donors within the Republican Party. And I do just have to say one thing. You know, I saw the RNC spending report where they were spending money on clothing and luxury travel and private jets. And I don't want to pat myself on the back. That's not my intention. But while they're spending their money that way, here you have activists like me, grassroots on the ground, that I'm driving in a 2005 Honda Civic with Powerades and granola in the back of my car, going down to Georgia to knock on doors for Herschel Walker. That's the kind of activism that we need within the Republican Party, where we don't appeal to the top, but we appeal to the grassroots, to the base. And we can do that by helping to elect Harmeet Dillon as the next RNC chair.
Scott, one last thing. Voter registration, that has been your bread and butter. You've been kicking butt at it. How's it been going?
It's going great, even continued to this day, despite the fact that we were not as successful as we hoped for in the 2022 midterms. We're seeing continued increase in voter registration for Republicans in North Carolina. I'm going to look at the details that are coming out today for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, where we continue to narrow the Democratic advantage in that Commonwealth. But I do want to open up conversation very briefly to what my plans are for 2023, because we have important statewide elections. My foci are going to be on winning the governorship in Louisiana, flipping that from blue to red, winning the governorship in Kentucky, flipping that governorship from blue to red. And we also have state legislative races in Jersey and Virginia. And last, this is of the utmost importance, that in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, we have 2 critical Supreme Court state seats that are going to be up. In Wisconsin, we have to hold the seat in order to keep our conservative majority. And in Pennsylvania, we have the opportunity to flip a seat, which would only give Democrats a narrow majority of 4-3. And those are going to be important seats that we need in order to go into 2024, because we know that there are going to be legal battles.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.